morning. How are we doing? What a great morning, eh? Well, my name is Phil Rylett, and I'd like to welcome you to Open Circle. Now, out of respect for our presenter, if you have cell phones, could you please turn them down or off? And I promise to remind you to turn them back on if I remember. Okay. We have the Open Circle mission statement, and this morning it is going to be read by Aurora Michelle.
Thank you.
Are we on?
Hello?
Are we on? So here? Yeah, there you go.
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year to all of you. Welcome to Open Circle, and I'm going to read today the mission statement. Open Circle provides a supportive environment to gather for social interaction and to improve our understanding of ourselves, our community, and our world. Presentations span a wide range of intellectual, cultural, physical, and spiritual topics. We do not necessarily agree with the ideas and philosophies of our presenters. We encourage you to listen with an open mind and form your own opinions. Thank you.
Excellent, Aurora. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, we have a pretty full schedule of presenters, but we're always looking for new ones. So if you'd like to speak or know anyone who would, please see Margaret. Is Margaret here today? Margaret, right here, or David, who was right there. See either of those if you want to speak or know of anyone who think would be suitable for Open Circle. Now, we have tomorrow, you'll probably find anyone, is everyone on the email sign-up list? I see a lot of. We have a board over there. You can sign up your email. We're going to do a survey. It's the first time we've done a survey at Open Circle, and we want to make sure that times are changing and that Open Circle remains relevant and that we listen to you. You know, your suggestions, your ideas, your complaints. But we'd like to hear from you. So if you're on the email list, you will get one probably tomorrow. You can always sign up by Brad on the camera there. And also there's the little URL, the web address. And you can take a little photo of that. And you can put that in your browser. There's a lot of glazed eyes here. Put that in your browser and you can take the survey without being part of the email list. So please participate and let us know what you think and how you feel about Open Circle. Now we'd like to welcome new timers, people who haven't been here before. If you can just stand so we can acknowledge you. Come on, there must be. Yeah, oh, that's it. Great, well, welcome. We hope you come again. Is there any, it's just a hunch I've got. Is there any Canadians here? Well, welcome home. You must be very proud. I heard in the Antarctic Games, the Canadian snowshoe sprinter won the gold medal. You must be very proud, yeah. He was so proud, he got it bronzed. We have videos of all the presentations. Well, not all of them. Brad is working hard to get all the presentations for the last several years into YouTube. Everyone's familiar with YouTube? We can go to YouTube and you can watch Open Circle and watch all the past presentations. You need to go to YouTube and look for chapaladrone, all one word, chapaladrone. And that is Brad's channel. Then you can do a search for any presentation by presenter or subject, and you can see them all for free. Okay. So let's see, well, the survey. Okay, see if any of the ladies can relate to this. A man well into his 80s asked his wife, Mary, Doesn't it make you sad when you see me running after those young girls sometimes? Not in the least, Peter, replies Mary. Our dog chases cars all the time, but there isn't a chance in hell he could manage to drive one. Do you have any blondes here? Oh, never mind. A man walks into a bar. He takes a seat and asks the barman if he wanted to hear a blonde joke. The barman replies, look, before you tell this joke, I want to tell you something. See the woman over there? She's a black belt in karate. As you can see, she's blonde. See the bouncer on the door over there? Notice he's blonde? It says, see the woman over there with the pool cue in her hand? She's blonde too. Also, I have a shotgun behind the bar, and I'm blonde. So do you still want to tell your blonde joke? He says, you kidding? I ain't explaining it 4 times. A woman is having a hard time getting her tomatoes to ripen, so she goes to a neighbor with a problem. The neighbor says, look, all you have to do, round about midnight, is go out naked in your garden and dance around. And the tomatoes will be so embarrassed that they will blush bright red. So midnight comes, the woman goes out naked, she dances around the garden. The next morning, the neighbor comes around and says, did you dance? She said, oh, yeah, naked, yeah. He said, well, did the tomatoes turn red? She says, no, they're still green, but I noticed the cucumbers grew 4 inches. How we doing the no? 2 cops rush to a crime scene. If you thought that was bad, wait till you hear this one. 2 cops rush to a crime scene behind a grocery store. The homicide detective is already there. What happened? Asked the first cop. Male, about 30, covered in raisin bran, and dead as a doornail. Oh my God, says the second officer. Didn't we have one covered in frosted flakes yesterday? And Captain Crunch last week? You're right, I'm afraid, said the detective, as he took a drag from his cigarette. This is the work of a serial killer. I'm going to need Roy's self-defense just to get out of here, aren't I? All right, we're doing. All right, I don't wish to be gross. Yeah. I don't wish to be gross, but the only time it is okay to yell out you have diarrhea is when you're playing Scrabble. Yeah, it's worth a shitload of points. Thought for the day: improve your memory by doing unforgettable things. Oh. I made up for it, did I? Okay. Next week's presentation is the Inner Game of Tennis, presented by Chris Wilshire. The Llanos Quartet is preparing for a major national string quartet competition in Mexico City. Come and learn what's involved in that preparation. The similarities between how an artist prepares for a competition and how an elite athlete prepares are striking, such as the thousands of hours of repetitive physical work required in the mental and psychological preparation. At Open Circle, we will discuss the rigors of disciplined practice and the kind of mental games we play before an audition, competition, or performance. The talk will conclude with a performance of Haydn's String Quartet, Opus 20, number 4 in D major, which they are preparing for the Concurso Nacional para Cuartetos de Cuerdas in Mexico City. So Chris Wilshire, the presenter, is the founder and artistic director of both the Northern Lights Festival and the Festival del Lago, an intensive 2-week workshop in August for advanced musicians. He is the most sought-out violin teachers in Mexico and also teaches in Canada and the US. The Llanos Quartet has performed multiple times for the Jalisco Secretary of Culture and the Northern Lights Musical Festival. They've gone on tour twice in Canada and are an Ajijic favorite. They've studied full-time with Christopher for the past 3 years, so we hope he can make it next week. Okay, and now we have our centering moment, which today will be led by Karuna.
Our presenter today is going to talk about self-defense. For a few minutes now, let us contact our primordial self, the self with a capital S, the self beyond our worldly achievements, beyond our status, beyond our race, our eternal self, the self that has no form, the self that connects us to universal intelligence. I am speaking slowly on purpose. The only space where we can meet with this self is in inner silence, when we stop the eternal chatter of the mind, the labeling, the opinion, a portal to reaching this space where we can embrace our true nature is through listening. Is through seeing. Take a few seconds to look at this amazing nature that surrounds us. Another way to access this portal is through our breath. When you breathe with consciousness, aware of the air that is coming in and the air that is going out, you are there. You are there in that space of stillness. You are connected to your true essential nature. And the wondrous thing about this is that you are connected to universal intelligence. Whenever you want to speak words of wisdom, whenever you truly want to be present, take a few seconds and connect. I want to give you a visual image that you carry with yourself related to connecting. The eternal is the true breath of life. And it's accessible any moment. It's accessible within a second. You find peace not by rearranging the circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level. I do not know our presenter, but I am sure whenever he achieves excellence in his martial arts, in his life, he is connected to this eternal self.
Thank you, Karuna. Thank you. Well, you're in for a treat today. Our presentation today, Self-Defense for Seniors, presented by Roy Quiriconi. Roy will tell you how not to be a target, but if you are, then how to fight back. Now, Roy is a black belt in Shaolin Temple Karate. He has studied Japanese sword fighting, Korean stick fighting, and Aikido. He was a saber fencer for many years and taught classes in self-defense to both adults and children in the US before coming to Ajijic. Please welcome Roy Quiriconi. He asked me to remind you that his hands have to be registered with the police authorities. Welcome. Oh.
All right, my hands are not registered with the police. My thumbs are. And they're very dangerous, and I'll explain that a little later. Anyway, I thought it was time maybe to do something in town because people are concerned about purse snatchings and muggings and so forth. So before I begin, I would just like to see a show of hands. I'm not going to call on anybody, but the people that have been mugged or purse snatched or threatened, would you please raise your hands so we can see how many we've got? Oh, that's almost 5% maybe. So it's, you know, people say, well, it's not going to happen to me. But we take out car insurance, we take out home insurance, we take out property insurance. But today I hope to give you a little self-protection insurance. And it's well worth the investment. So the first thing we're going to talk about, who is the target? In the animal kingdom, the target are the weak, the infirmed, the young, and the old. Most of those terms apply to all of us. Okay, how to avoid to be a target? First of all, you don't want to be singled out by somebody. And people say, well, if I'm in a crowd, I'm safer. Well, you would be safer, except in a crowd, there are always stragglers. And those are the ones that are most likely to be a target. And you know, you see 6 or 7 women walking around at night, coming out of a restaurant, and they feel pretty secure because there's 6 or 7 of them. But there's always one who's lagging behind. Well, that one is the target. So draw straws to see who's going to be the last one when you come out of the restaurant. Okay, I'm going to pick out somebody out of the crowd completely at random. You, young lady, would you step up here? Okay, this lady, here, get over here, I want everybody to see you. If I'm a mugger, I mean, I might look at this lady and I might see a walking jewelry store. So what I want you to do when you get up in the morning, or mostly applicable at night if you're going out in the town, before you go out, look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I a walking jewelry store? So she's got bracelets, she's got a watch, she usually wears earrings, she's got a necklace. She's very attractive to a mugger. He's going to pick on her. Well, she's very attractive anyway, but to a mugger, she's more attractive. The mugger is less likely to pick out somebody who is less dressed up, wearing less jewelry, and so forth, okay? Did a great job. Also, I might want to add, while she's here, if she's walking down the street and she's carrying her purse like this is the wrong way to carry your purse. If you're carrying your purse this way, make sure you're walking where the building is. So your purse is on the inside. If she's walking on the outside and this is the street, and I'm on a motorcycle with my pal in the back, we drive up, I slow down, we walk by, he does this, and we drive away. It's simple. Now, I want you to keep in mind that the average time of a purse snatching is about 2 seconds. So you don't have time to react. If she feels a tug here, first of all, she's going to show a little jerk of what's going on, but by that time it's too late. So if she's wearing it like this, I'm going to pass her up. There's no point in me grabbing this purse and trying to drag her with me. I'll look for somebody else, okay? All right, thanks, kid. So I told a friend of mine that I was going to give this talk. And she says, oh, I'm ready. She said, I've got pepper spray in my purse. I'll show it to you. She takes something that's 4 times this size. She looks like she's going on a 3-day weekend to Guadalajara or something. She's got everything in there but the pillows and the mattress. And she puts it on the table, and she starts looking for the pepper spray. After 45 minutes, she's still looking for it. She can't find it. So one of the things you want to do is, regardless of what weapon you carry, and we'll talk about that, if you don't have your hand on it, it's not going to work. People come up to me and say, yeah, I have pepper spray at home. Well, it's not going to do you any good at home. Keys are a good deterrent, okay, as an example. If I've got my keys here, and I can't reach it, it's not going to do me any good. So you can have all the doodads, things they sell on the internet, weapons. If you can't lay your hand on it, it's not going to do you any good. So what I would suggest to you when you get home, and this is mostly, for women, open your purse and dump it out and ask yourself, what can I do without carrying this around? You don't need your passport. You don't need airline tickets. You don't need all sorts of different things in your purse. You're only going to go out for an hour or so maybe, and then go back home. If you need something for this afternoon, don't carry it around in the morning. All you need is identification, maybe your LCS card, a business card with your phone number on it, and a few bucks in your wallet. If you want to carry a lot of money, if you're going to carry 5,000 pesos, put 1,000 in your pocket, in your wallet, or in your purse for the mugger. That's his money. The rest of it, you put somewhere else. It's worth 25 bucks not to have him beat you up and probably maybe even get you killed, okay? Recently, I had a 500 note, and I asked a friend of mine if he could change it. He takes out his wallet, he opens it up, and he pulls out like 10,000 pesos. What the hell is he doing with 10,000 pesos in his wallet? If he wants to carry 10, put 9 in his pocket, put 9 in his underwear, put 9 in his shoe, but just carry 1 in the wallet. A friend of mine, I was walking with behind her. She's got this backpack on, and her cell phone is sticking outside the backpack. And I see this all the time. These kids walk around, adults walk around, they got these big cell phones, iPhones sticking out of their pocket. All you got to do to take it away from her is walk up behind her, tap her on the left shoulder, she turns around, you take the cell phone, and you're gone. It is so easy. So be prepared before you go on the street. Not that I want you to be paranoid about it, but take precautions. Take precautions. Now, my wife, Susie, likes to put things in her bra. So she gets up in the morning, and she's a 35B. She takes her wallet, puts it in her bra. She takes her keys, put it in her bra. She takes some other thing she has in her bra. She puts the ham and cheese on rye in her bra. By the time she leaves the house, she's a 44D. And by the way, speaking of bras, on the internet, there are bras with pockets in them. I don't know if you ladies know about it. I didn't know about it. But so you can load up before you go out. All right, you want to be aware of your surroundings. As I said, the attack can take seconds. And one thing I want to talk about is the startle reflex, okay? I'm going to read from the dictionary. A startle reflex is an unconscious defensive response to a sudden or threatening stimuli having a deleterious effect on cognition. So, you're walking down the street and you're thinking about other things, and a guy bumps into you. You have a mild startle effect, but you can't think for a second or two, and by that time it's too late. So, I'm taking martial arts. I'm ready for my black belt test. And I'm at home, we're in Wisconsin in the country, and the moon is out. Susie's turning the bathroom, I'm waiting my turn. And I'm standing in front of our plate glass window. I can see my reflection. So I'm studying all my moves. Huh?
This is the most dangerous thing I've ever done. Yeah. Approach him.
Yeah, okay.
I lost your clip.
That's not, is that a watch? That's not my watch.
Sorry, Corona.
So, back to the story. So I'm standing in front of this plate glass window, looking at my image, and I'm doing my stuff. And I'm really ready for my black belt, and I feel terrific. I can handle any situation. And we used to joke around about Inspector Clouseau and Cato, who could attack him at any time, at any moment, without warning. But I'm in my own house. So I'm doing my stuff. She comes out of the bathroom. She runs at me and screams. I think I jumped 6 feet up in the air. I think I even hit the ceiling. I almost had a heart attack. So, if you don't have an increased sense of awareness, you're not prepared. So if I'm walking down the street and I'm minding my own business, not thinking about anything, a guy can come up behind me and hit me, knock me down, take my wallet, and I'm not ready for him. And I don't want you to be ready for, catastrophe, but be aware of what's going on around you. We went to a Christmas Eve dinner right off the square, and we left at 11 o'clock. I was shocked when I walked into the square. It was deserted. There wasn't a soul on the plaza. It was like a Hollywood movie set, and it was spooky because there was nobody around, and we had to walk home. So we start walking home, and when I walked with Susie, we made it home with no trouble. But if I would have seen 3 guys celebrating, and maybe had too much to drink, and they're walking towards us, I would be very concerned. So what do I do in a case like that? Well, I go on the opposite side of the street that they're walking on, and as long as they look like they're minding their own business, we're okay. But at the same time, I've got my hands on my keys, just in case. And if they would have come towards us to make some trouble, I would have grabbed the first door I heard and start banging on the door and banging on the next door. And I would have told Susie to start screaming her head off to diffuse the situation. Maybe they figured that it's not worth bothering this guy. So you have to be aware of what's going on. When we're walking, over the years, I've just come accustomed to carrying my keys in my hands. I don't carry a lot of keys because a lot of keys are cumbersome. But I carry these 2. And if I see somebody suspicious coming towards me, I maybe do this, just to do something. Just remember, anything is better than nothing, okay? So, what can I do with this? If a guy, first of all, let's back up. If a guy comes up to you and he's got a gun, you do whatever he tells you to do. In karate, we spend a lot of time practicing how to defuse someone with a gun. But we do with a play gun. I think if a guy came at me with a real gun, I'd have an attack of diarrhea in a hurry. So you do what the guy with the gun tells you. If a guy comes at you with a knife, I think you do what he tells you to. You don't want to fool around with a guy with a knife. But who is our attacker? For the most part, it's not anybody who's sophisticated at this kind of activity. They didn't go to mugging school. They didn't take class 101 in mugging. It's a situation of opportunity. So mostly, I think they're older teenagers, young guys in their 20s. Somebody in their 30s who's in a criminal type has probably graduated onto something more profitable than grabbing women's purses. So it's mostly these young kids. They could be drunk, they could be on drugs, they could be poor, they could be starving, you don't know. But you have to defend yourself. So, as I said, you see 3 or 4 of these guys walking towards you, you take note of them, you say, I might be in a dangerous situation. You reach in your pocket and you grab your keys or some other stuff I'll tell you about a little later. So the point is, be aware of the situation and be aware of body language, okay? You have to expect the unexpected. Example, last week I'm in Chile Verde, and a friend of mine is sitting there with her 2 friends. So she calls me over and introduces me, says, Roy's going to do something on martial arts. And the man says, oh, I used to do Taekwondo. And I was in the World Championships Taekwondo. I mean, this guy's a killer. But if you don't know that, he looks like an ordinary old guy, like, the rest of us. So if, for example, a guy like that and you get into an altercation, I spill water on his lap and he gets up and he's mad and he wants to take it out on me, I'm not going to fight him because I don't know who he is. All right? So I try to diffuse the situation because he could take me out. And you try to get away from the situation. You don't want to fight. You don't want to be a hero. There's no point to it. Okay? Okay, defending yourself. Let me pick somebody else from the audience. Where is he? Oh, there you are. Easy, easy. Okay, this is a very dangerous looking individual. If you see him on the street, you're going to cross the street. All right, no, so when you look at somebody, the vulnerable points of the body that you should be concerned about attacking to protect yourself. All right, we start up here. 1, you poke the eye out, okay? 2, you could break his nose. 3, you could hit his chin and jerk him back. 4, you could hit him in the neck here. 5, the solar plexus is right here. And then the legs, the toes are very vulnerable. If you can step on their toes, you're in good shape. Yes, ma'am. Hang on a minute. Do you want to give her a microphone?
Well, yeah, just wait for the mic if you could.
Hello. It happened to me here 2 years ago, right in front of LCS. It could happen anywhere, and they pushed me down really hard. My knees were really torn up. And how would you defend yourself in that situation? I had my purse the right way, but it was really late at night. I noticed that they were behind me following.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do. And I was 20 feet from my house over here.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, in some situations, there's not a hell of a lot you can do. But if you're leaving LCS and it's dark, you look around and see if anybody's there. If somebody's there, go back in LCS. Pound on somebody's door. You try to avoid the situation. If you can't avoid it, then you have to get ready for them to do their thing. But if you should have something in your hand, and we'll talk about that a little later, okay? Because you're not going to defend yourself barehanded against a couple of younger guys, okay? So, huh? I was on your toe. Step on his toe. The vulnerable part is the shin. That's going to hurt a lot, and the knee. So, if you're carrying around one of these things, and I like this because I can extend it and I can retract it very easily. So, especially here, people do a lot of mountain climbing, so it's common to see people carrying around these walking sticks. So it's nothing unusual. So the mugger may not be dissuaded because he sees this because it's common in the area. But if Steve here is a mugger and I've got this in my hand and he comes towards me, I mean, there's so many things I can do. I can just whack him in the shin and that'll end it. I can hit him down around the ankle. I can come straight up, and if I miss his stomach, I can always come back and hit him on the head. The thing is, with a weapon like this, you don't want to do this because it takes you 18 seconds to come around and do this. You want to keep it in front of you and just poke and do this kind of thing. Now, if he's got one of these and you've got one of these, I think another thing to keep in mind is for women. Think of scream and scratch. The mugger he doesn't think you're going to attack him. Yet you're going to be a weak victim. As soon as you start reacting to him, he's going to get out of there because it's not worth his while to hang around and try to fight you over your purse. So, if all else fails, start screaming your head off and practice it at home so you got good lung power, and use your nails. So, if Steve is choking me, all right, he's like this. So we say, what do we do? Now, you can go to his face and just scratch the hell out of his face. You can poke his face, because your hands are free, all right? You can also come up like this and break it, and then come down like this. But you're probably not going to do that either. Because you're going to be in a startle response. You're not going to be able to react right away unless you have a heightened awareness. And so if he's doing this, the other thing I can do is this. Bend his elbows in, he'll let go. Susie's favorite is you reach, you grab his little finger, and you pull it till you hear it snap. And he'll let go. Okay? I don't know yet. Okay. Yeah, we're done. Thank you.
Namaste.
Okay, I got a couple things that I just took out of our drawer that we have at home. These are little pliers that I use in my work. 10 minutes? I got a half hour left. You can carry these in your purse, all right? It won't take much more space, and it's very light, but it's a good weapon. This is another one, a little screwdriver. So you pick the weapon of your choice. This is nice because you can hold it like this, and you've got something to defend yourself with. You can carry a small pair of scissors in your purse. You can carry a box cutter. I got this, an X-Acto knife. It's got a little cover on it so it doesn't bother you, and you can just hold it in your hand. Then we get to the serious stuff. This is pepper spray. I would recommend everybody get one of these. And you put it on the end of your keychain. If you don't need it, you can at least use your keys. If you're now, this is if it's on your belt and it's on your belt and you're not reaching for it, it's not going to do you any good. So if you think you're in a situation, potential situation, you take it out. And you walk with it in your hand. If nothing happens, you get home, you put it back in the bag. It's not going to do you any good if it's in the drawer at home. The thing I like about pepper spray, and I'm going to read it. It's got proven stopping power. It shoots about 10 feet. 10 feet. It causes no long-term effects or permanent damage, which is nice because you don't want to really, cripple the guy. He might be on drugs. Other than being on drugs, he's a nice guy. He's got a family and so forth and so on. But so this will do it. It's nice and safe for both of you. I was sitting over there. A friend of mine came in. He's got one of these things. I never saw him before. Well, they're only $14.95, and I've got 5 of them. So you carry this around. And if somebody looks suspicious, you're in a situation that you're uncomfortable, put it in your hand. Now, you need 2 hands for this. But that's okay. Look, if he hears that, he's gonna run. Okay, this is the coup de grace. This is a taser and a strobe flashlight. So the taser is not working, so don't worry about it. So to turn it on, you click it 3 times, and it starts strobing. Oh, you can hardly see it. But it's a very powerful light, and you put it right in their face, and it neutralizes them. They're not going to bother you. The taser is there. If it's on and they still keep coming, then you let them have the taser. It's a little heavy, a little cumbersome, but not a bad idea to have at home, where it's handy. Now, people are concerned with people knocking on the door and say, pizza delivery, and you say, I didn't order a pizza, and they say, well, it's already paid for, and you say, what the hell, I might as well get a free pizza. You open the door, they knock you on the head. So, what I suggest is, at home, you have something like this by the door. And this is a can of WD-40. But you've got a lot of spray cans in the house. Take one of them, put them by the front door. If a guy insists on coming in, or you think it's the utility company, and you don't want to send the guy away, well, you put this in your hand and you open the door. And if it's not the guy or he gives you a shove, you let him have it in the face. This is bug spray. What I like about the bug spray is it's designed for your finger to be in the groove. You can't mishandle it, right? So this is a good idea. If you don't want to fool around with any of that stuff because it's too lethal, you make a soap situation in a spray can. It's just soap. It's not going to hurt him. But it sprays far enough so that you can put something in his face and it'll give you time to react. All right? This presentation always goes over big with dogs. Okay, so you got a couple of things here. I explained this. It's very nice. It's got a point. When you're not really concerned, you can shorten it up and just carry it around. But what you don't want to do is do this. Because if you do that and he grabs it, he's got you. If he grabs it, let it go. It's only a stick. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, if somebody wants my purse, there's not a hell of a lot in it. I got maybe 500 pesos and a few pieces of paper. You take the purse and you do that. And you go this way. Don't give it to him. Put it over there because that's what he wants. When he reaches for it, you go the other way. Now we say run. Well, most of us haven't run fast since 7th grade. And besides, with cobblestones, you're not going to go far. You're going to break your ankle. That's when you start screaming, or putting a light in his eyes, or slashing him with something. This I like because At my age, walking around with something like this is not noticeable. People expect it. And I wear it. I don't use it. I wear it. Especially if I'm going out at night with my wife and we're walking home alone. Why not take this along? And if somebody comes, you hold it like this, and at least you're ready to defend yourself to some extent. Okay? Last but not least, rainy season, you're walking around with an umbrella. Situation comes up where you're suspicious. Well, when you just open it up like you would an ordinary umbrella, and you put your finger on the trigger. And if a guy comes up to you, you do that. And you go forward until this penetrates him to his backbone. So I got a few other things from the dilatoria in town. That'll scare the hell out of anybody, won't it? So they've got these things, pepper spray, different kinds of pepper spray. Here's a taser. Now, taser, you know, it's okay, but what if he takes the taser away from you? Then he's going to use it on you. I wouldn't use the taser. And so there's various things, tasers, flashlights, and so forth. So I think I'm done, but now we can have some questions.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Roy. Excellent. We time for a few questions. Please wait until a mic is brought to you, and then if you could stand and ask your question. Great, thank you.
I thought I was pretty smart having a backpack with safety zippers and stuff, but is it when it's on you, do people still get a backpack pulled off their back?
Well, I don't know. Personally, I haven't heard of that, but okay, well this.
Wait. If we can wait for the mic, otherwise the people over there can't hear the
All right, the
discussion.
crowd is starting to get unruly. Go ahead. Here.
The fabric on your backpack doesn't have wires through it. They will use a knife to slice through the backpack. A backpack is not a safe thing to walk around with.
So if you're carrying around a backpack, you got to carry around a knife to cut the strap. However, if I'm a mugger, it's too much trouble for me to attack somebody with a backpack. There's so many more easy targets around for me. Why should I bother?
Okay, we have a question.
Hi. Oh, am I on? Okay. Well, I have a friend who was with the Department of Defense, and he said when you're in a foreign country and you aren't allowed to carry a gun with you, the very best thing to carry in your car or by your front door, as you were saying, would be to have a can of Hornet Spray, because Hornet Spray projects 15 to 20 feet. You don't have to wait till somebody gets very close to you. Yeah, and you aim for the eyes. Hornet Spray? Well, at any... Yeah, hardware store, Walmart. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what kind of spray is it?
Hornet, like bee, wasp, hornet. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you get raid, it goes 20 feet. Yes, sir.
Oh, we have a question.
Okay.
We have a question here.
Hello, Roy.
Hi.
Hello, Roy.
Yeah.
In your presentation, you did not mention us ladies having a go at the groin. Well, good kick. What happened to you?
Well, I'll tell you what. I thought about that a lot. You know, everybody says go for the groin, go for the groin. Well, if your attacker's this big, the groin is too far down. If your attacker's this big, the groin's too far up. A groin's a good idea, but what if you miss? What if you hit him right here? And not there? It's a... Okay, but you get the idea. If you can have a shot at it, take it. But if you don't have a good shot at it, don't do it.
Phil.
Okay, we have a question.
How about a dog attack?
A dog attack?
A vicious dog attack. Do you have a recommendation?
Well, if I had a can of pepper spray in my pocket, yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't. What are you going to do against the big dog? Okay?
Okay, we have a question from a gentleman at the
When I
back.
was younger, I grew up in a rough neighborhood. So I was into martial arts for about 20 years. And the last 40 years, I just walk with a dog, a big dog, a German Shepherd dog, a protection trained German Shepherd dog. The one time a guy tried to mug me in Vancouver, he came out with a great big stick, took two paces forward. My dog pivoted around and went on alert. And the guy froze like this and said, "Does your dog bite?"
Okay, a dog might be a good defense, but a lot of you carry these little fifis around with you, and they're not going to do you any good unless you take them and throw it at them.
We have a question here, sir.
Well, yeah, I know you had your pocket picked, but I was just I had my pocket picked in Portugal, and I was going to say afterwards, I realized, or because somebody told me, never put your wallet, I'm talking about men, never put your wallet in the back pocket. It's so easy to lift it out, put it in your side pocket.
Yeah, that's a good idea, but it doesn't look cool in your front pocket. Well, if you're going to put your wallet in your back pocket, button it, or Velcro it, or make sure your trousers are snug enough so nobody's going to be able to slip it out. If they are, put it in one of these things. Now, I would venture to say that if you go home and only take the things you need absolutely necessary for the next few hours, they could all fit in here. And you put it around your neck like this, you got your hand on your pepper spray, and you're ready for anything.
I have a question from a lady there.
I was in a major hotel in Montreal, and the washrooms were in the basement. And it was very long toilet stalls. And all of them were open, the doors. And most ladies, we don't walk to the far end. But I looked, and it looked strange that one door was closed way down there. So I went in the first one, and the first thing, I did not pull my pants down. I looked under, and darn it, wasn't he looking at me. I saw he had construction boots, and he was in the last one looking at me. So I came out, banged on the door where it said administration. Nobody was there. He comes out, and there was a door to the underground garage of the Place Bonaventure in Montreal. And he ran like a fool, and I chased him. I was hoping there were people there. And I was yelling, "Stop the pervert, stop the pervert." And he turns around and says, "What the hell do you want?" I said, "I want you in jail." But he outran me.
Yeah, good for you.
But I watched that the door that was not normal, that all the doors were open except that.
Yeah, good idea. All right.
Okay, another question here.
I had a similar incident. I was walking down the street in Harare, Zimbabwe, and we had read that in the early morning paper that there were two groups of young men stealing from tourists. So we were heightened awareness.
Yeah.
And as I was walking down the street, oops, where's the microphone? I want to get as we were walking down the street, I saw the guy approach me on my left, and I grabbed his wrist. And I turned around and said, "No, you don't." So he backed off. And so about 5-7 minutes later, one of the other of his gang came up, and he was reaching for my pocket. And I turned around, and I grabbed him by the front of the shirt, and I started yelling for the police.
Good for you.
And he broke away. Now, these guys are Olympic sprinters. I was 47 damn years old chasing an Olympic sprinter down the damn street.
Yeah.
And I saw that I was going to hit a Coke bottle can, and I hit it, the cap, and I fell. But that's how he, and of course he was miles away from me. So about 20 minutes later, some of the other tourists had seen this, and they said they're gathering down at the other end of the block, and we think they're coming for you. So my friend and I were sitting in at an outside cafe. So we moved to the inside of the cafe. And as they gathered, like 4 points around the edge of the cafe, I just waved to them and gave them the finger.
You are formidable.
We have a couple of 3 questions. Yeah, David sprinting along.
I'd just like to say I came across an interview of a reformed mugger, and he did say in no uncertain terms, if you're with a dog, it didn't matter how small a dog, he won't bother. He would rather, he's looking for the weaker. He doesn't want a dog that's going to bark.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a wrong impression to think that all you can do is toss this little dog at him and he'll run away. The other question is, I know somebody who has a pepper spray. It's about 15 years old. And this may be a little technical, but if you had to guess, I don't think this person has used this pepper spray in all 15 years. You think that that's still a viable pepper spray? Or, you know what I'm saying? How long do these things last? People hold on to these things, they never use them. And, and you could spray it, and it's water.
Well, you could spray with water, but it might keep the guy coming. But if that's all you got, fine. Spray him with water. I have no idea. Yeah, it could get stale. I don't know. But it's an $8 investment every 6 months.
There's nothing on the packaging that says if it.
Okay.
If
We
it
had
expires.
an interesting experience in Costa Rica.
A little louder.
We had an interesting experience in Costa Rica, and I don't want to make the story long, but what happened was that there are women there. They had rings that were sharpened like a knife. And they would the women would have their purses under their arm,
Yeah.
and they would come with that knife and slash it, and then take out the content from the purse.
Jesus.
It happened to us.
Don't go to Puerto Rico. What's
Another
Costa
question?
Rica? Yes, ma'am.
Who, me?
Margaret,
yeah.
yes?
Oh,
You're up.
a few years back, I was at home in the U.S. listening to National Public Radio, and they said, well, the thing about being attacked and your purse snatched or something is that everybody plays a role. The one guy is the attacker, and then automatically people play the part of a victim. The way to overcome that, to break through that, is to talk to your attacker. And something like a week later, I was in Mexico, not here, walking down the street, and I had a backpack. And an attacker came and pulled me by the hair, threw me on the ground, and I remembered what they said on NPR. And I thought, what shall I say? And I was very nervous, could hardly find my voice at all. But I said, here, take this bag in Spanish and give me the cards inside because of the hours it takes to renew a driver's license or whatever, And he did. Now, here was somebody that had a gun, and he showed me in his trousers. But the worst was, and I was in a very lonely spot, his zipper was open, and I'm on the ground. But he gave me the cards and went on.
Did you tell him his zipper was open?
Another question from a gentleman here. Oh.
Hi, Roy.
Hi.
Sir. Where do you draw the line from giving away your sacrificial stuff and protecting your body? Because when you try to threaten somebody, it sometimes triggers things. Yeah, you might get away with it, but if you don't, then you're exposing yourself to being beaten or worse.
Well, if I understand your question correctly, as far as I'm concerned, he's not after you, beating you up, making sure he inflicts injury. He wants your money. If you give him a wallet with 500 pesos, he shouldn't bother you. But at the same time, you've got a chance to reach in for your pepper spray. Maybe you put your keys in your hand and you get ready for whatever comes next. That's all you can do, I think.
Yeah.
Time for one more question.
Yeah, you mentioned the keys. Did I miss the best part of your presentation? What do you do with those keys?
Say that again, louder.
Was it me that missed the best part of your presentation? What do you do with those keys?
When?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I would just hold them like this. Now, Susie likes to put them between her knuckles. But I mean, if they get bent somehow, they're going to hurt your knuckles. I don't know. Whatever's comfortable for you, whatever you can poke, slash. I personally like something like this. In fact, when I was doing martial arts, I designed what I called a key whip. It was plastic, conformed to your hands for your fingers, and it had a little blunt edge here to poke them this way. And I think we sold one. Nobody thinks it's going to happen to them.
Right, we've run out of time. Thank you very much, Roy. Roy will be up here. If you want to ask him a question, approach him very, very cautiously and from the front.
This guy's going to get it. Okay, thanks, folks.
Okay. I just want to remind you, thank you, to turn back your cell phones back on and pick up your coffee. Well, we don't have any coffee cups because we've gone green. Stack your chairs. Thank you very much for coming, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you.